the two methods to stop sinning. First, we're going to establish the fact that sin is a universal problem. All have sinned and come short of the glory of God, says in Romans 6:23. That all means every single one of us, without exception. If you've ever felt guilt, you've sinned. If you've ever felt guilt, you've sinned. If you've ever tried to do something because you knew it was the right thing to do, and you failed to do it, then you've sinned. Now Ecclesiastes 7:20 says, "For there's not a just man upon earth that doeth good, and sinneth not." That's a big statement. Not a just man. No pope, no preacher, no mama, no grandma, no one upon the face of the earth. Now, there's people that don't fornicate, lie, cheat, steal, smoke, or overeat. That if you lived with them for a week, you'd say, well, they don't sin. But when you consider the heart and the sins of omission, the things we don't do, the selfishness in our life, the pride, the self-pity, all the different emotions that we have that are self-advancing, then you find out we're all sinners. Romans 3:12 says, "They're all gone out of the way. They are together become unprofitable. There is none that doeth good, no, not one." And then John said in 1 John 1:10, "If we say we've not sinned, we make him a liar, and his word is not in us." Now that being settled, God commands us to not sin. He expects us to not sin. He's made provision for us not to sin. Furthermore, we expect it of ourselves if we have any moral fortitude at all. A good person, a righteous person, a Christian, even non-Christians, good people, don't decide, I'm going to go out and sin today. They'll decide, okay, during my life, I'm going to be a sinner. If you ask people, are you a good person or a bad person? Most people tell you I'm a good person. Why? Because they try to do what is right most of the time. And that's their commitment in life, to be good. But God commands us to sin not. Psalm 4:4, "Stand in awe and sin not." There in the Old Testament. 1 John 2:1, "My little children, these things write unto you," that's the scriptures, "these things write unto you that you sin not." The Bible is written, portions of it in particular, are written so you can stop sinning. Now that's left out of a lot of Christianity today. Most Christians have settled into the acceptance of their sin and the sin of others, and they live and wallow in a pitiful condition of self-condemnation. John 5:14, "Afterward Jesus findeth him in the temple and saith unto him, Behold, thou art made whole, sin no more." So here's a man Jesus had healed, and he told him, don't sin anymore. Why would he do that if it were impossible for him to sin not? 3 John 11, "Behold, follow not that which is evil, but follow that which is good. He that doeth good is of God. He that doeth evil hath not seen God." There's a big assumption in scriptures that if you do evil, you're not of God. That there's a clear difference between a Christian and a non-Christian, and you can see it in their life. If they live in sin, they're of the devil. If they live in righteousness, they're of God. Now, the two methods to stop sinning, I'm going to give you the first one. It's a natural way. This natural way is understood intuitively. It's innate knowledge. It's something employed by people. Psychology is based on the assumption of the truths of this. And in fact, 99% of the sermons preached on stopping sinning are nothing more than naturalistic things that everybody universally in all religions employ. And what makes that dangerous is it leaves out the real supernatural way of overcoming sin. And it makes people content with living in a low level of expectation, struggle, and overcoming. So this natural way available to all depends entirely upon the values of the individual, the discipline the individual has, and the power they have, and self-control. And that leaves out a whole lot of us. Most people don't have a lot of discipline, don't have a lot of moral courage. And give you an example, I've known plenty of sinners that decided it was wrong to smoke, harm their body, and they stopped. I've known plenty of drug addicts and drunks who decided it was wrong to take drugs that was harmful and hurt their family, and hurt their wife and their kids, and it was a bad thing to do, so they stopped. Many more tried to and didn't, but the fact is some have. So now what happens is the Christian thinks the difference between him and the average sinner, where the average sinner too wants to stop sinning, is that he asks God to help him. The Christian confesses his sin and then asks God, please help me stop sinning. And so the Christian is praying all the time for strength and courage and power to turn sin down and not to yield to it. And you know what? God doesn't pay that prayer any mind at all. He just ignores it. Yes, that's right. You say, why would he do that? Because God has already made provision for us to overcome sin, and we're mocking what he did when we turn around and, like any sinner, pray, give me strength not to sin. God has already done what's necessary. We'll come to that in a bit. So, how do you stop sinning in a natural way? Think about this. Any sin you can conceive of with pleasure, with the right opportunity, you'll do it. That's why TV, movies slowly erode your moral values and cause you a little here, a little there to take pleasure in things that you know you shouldn't do. But they're doing it. Seems to be fun, looks pleasurable. And especially when people get into pornography, things they never conceived of. Men who are straight down the line get into pornography, and the pornographers slip in a little homosexuality. And first thing you know, they're looking at gay porn and taking pleasure in it. That man, put in prison, put in the right situation, where there's no wife overseeing him, where there's no church, no family, will commit sodomy and enjoy it, because in his heart and mind, he's already enjoyed it. Same thing is true of all other aspects of sin. If you can conceive of it with pleasure, Jesus said you committed it already in your heart. You're already down the road to sin. So one of the natural ways to stop sinning is to stop exposing yourself to things that erode your moral perspective. Stop thinking in terms of sin. Stop imagining sin. Stop taking pleasure in sin. Discipline your mind. Everybody knows that. That's not supernatural. Now, the Bible commends these natural means. Before we go into the supernatural, I'm going to show you that the Bible does commend natural means, because the supernatural employs the natural. The supernatural is a mixture of God's power and your will. The supernatural is a mixture of what God has done for you and to you, and what you do in response to it. So the supernatural is never done without you. It's done through you. We'll come to that. But God commends the natural means to overcome sin. Look at this, 2 Timothy 2:22. Flee youthful lust. You can pray, God, I've got this terrible lust on me. Take it away. I just want to go back and get a drink. I just want to smoke this pot. I just want to take these drugs. I just want to eat this food. I just want to look at this pornography. I just want to commit adultery. It's a powerful lust on me. God, please help me. He's ignoring that prayer. God, please stop this from happening. Stop me from sinning. He's ignoring that prayer. He's already told you what to do in the natural if you want to do something. He said, what? Flee youthful lust. You know what that means? That means get up and run. That means turn your computer off, get rid of it if necessary. That means leave the place where you're being tempted. That means don't go down to the bar where there's drinks and drugs going on. Don't associate with the people that are going to be a source of temptation. Flee. That's your job. Flee. Till you flee, nothing God can do for you. You can't have it both ways. You can't live in lust and overcome at the same time. You can't slip up to the edges of sin. I need something round. Hand me a plate or a skillet or something. Let me go get an illustration here. All right, here comes my helper. All right, this is the way it works. Right here on this globe is a place of balance where we should stand. Down here is falling into sin. Now, this is lust right here until the act of sin is committed. What people want to do is they want to think about the sin down here and the pleasures it would bring. And then they want to indulge their thoughts, their imaginations in it, maybe in media of some sort, or daydreaming, or whatever, or flirting with the girl at work or the guy. Whatever it is, it's departing from the perfect place of equilibrium and balance and maturity and discipline, and beginning to walk down that road towards sin, expecting to come back and come back and come back until one day you go too far and you fall and you say, I fell into sin. Oh, you climb down into it one step at a time over a period of time. So the Bible says, flee youthful lust. Get away from it. That's your job. Now that's a natural thing that you can do. Doesn't do you any good to tell God to help me. God's waiting on you to take the act, to hate the sin and flee it. This is fun because I'm giving you truth that's going to change your life. And then it says, this is 2 Timothy 2:22, flee youthful lust, but follow righteousness. Follow. That's walking. Follow. Flee the lust. And then follow after what? Righteousness, faith, charity, peace, with them that call on the Lord out of a pure heart. Your heart may not be pure right now, but if you'll flee the youthful lust and follow after these things, righteousness, faith, charity, peace, then you'll find yourself in a place to where that sin is not pulling on you. You'll get the breeze of temptation come through every once in a while, but you won't descend down into the torrents and the storms of lust that will drag you off your feet and sweep you down into the hollows and darkness of sin. You have no temptation taken you, but such as is common to man. You see, temptation will take you. It'll get you in a headlock, get you in a full Nelson. Sin will take you. If you mess around where it is, it's going to put its hands on you. But he said, no temptation is taken you, but such as is common to man. That means other people experience the same thing. But God is faithful, who will not suffer you to be tempted above that you're able. In other words, you'll experience temptation when you're walking in righteousness and purity and holiness and you're at that point of balance. You'll experience temptation. It'll come and take you every once in a while, but you'll flee it. No temptation is taken you, but it's common to man. But God will not suffer you to be tempted above that you're able. Now, when you leave that point of equilibrium, that point of trusting God, point of a pure heart, and you begin to indulge your mind into sin, you're allowing temptation to take you down that road to ruin. And you have departed from the path of truth. You're on your own now. No temptation is taken you but such as is common to man, but God is faithful, who will not suffer you to be tempted above that you're able, but will with that temptation make a way to escape. Notice, God does not promise to remove the temptation. He promises that you can escape the temptation. That's when you leave and leave your shirt behind. That's when you leave and you jump out of your shoes to get away. That's when you decide you despise that sin so much and what it does to the Lord Jesus Christ that you're leaving here. And that may mean moving. If you're in a location where there's extra temptation, it may mean a lot of things, but you need to be desperate. This is natural, something you can do. Hadn't gotten to the supernatural yet. And then he says, stand in awe, sin not. And that's God's command. But then it says, commune with your own heart upon your bed. So how do you sin not? You commune with your own heart upon the bed. The Bible says, speaking to yourselves in psalms, hymns, spiritual songs, singing and making melody in your hearts to the Lord. You have control of your heart. You have the input in your heart. Your brain, you can focus on what you want to think about. My wife's book, Create a Better Brain Through Neuroplasticity, right here, goes into that in a natural way, a way of science and psychology and the actual mapping of the brain. It talks about how you can form your brain to be bent one way or bent the other way. So commune with your own heart. When you do that, you actually change your brain. And be still. 2 Peter 2:14 says they have eyes full of adultery. That's where adultery starts. It starts in the eyes. That they cannot cease from sin, beguiling unstable souls as they have exercised with covetous practices. You see, you sin because you exercise yourself to sin. Like we said here, you exercise yourself to sin. You move toward that sin so you can feel the hot breath of sin and take a little pleasure and then move back to the central position. You buy that food you shouldn't eat and you leave it in the house. And then that hunger hits you about 2 in the afternoon. And what happens? You start gorging on that stuff that's going to blow your body up and shorten your life by 10, 15, 20, or 30 years. Having eyes full of adultery, they've exercised with covetous practices. 1 Corinthians 15:34, awake to righteousness. Listen, you got to wake up. The world, you've been made captive by Hollywood, by the media, by the world around you, by all the advertisements. Awake to righteousness and sin not. That's what God expects you to do. Sin not. As obedient children, this is 1 Peter 1:14, as obedient children, not fashioning yourselves according to the former lust in your ignorance. Now, you know what fashion is, that we put on their fashion and it's what's popular. He said, don't fashion yourself according to your former lust. If you do that, if you exercise your mind, your heart, your activities the same way you used to, you're fashioning yourself according to your former lust. It's going to end tragically. He said, be holy in all manner of conversation. Keep your conversation holy. It'll make a difference in your actions. Be holy, for I am holy, he said. That's what God expects of us, holiness. The church has slipped far away from God today. It's no longer holy. Philippians 4:18, finally, brethren, this is very, very good natural thing that you can do. Finally, brethren, whatsoever things are true, whatsoever things are honest, whatsoever things are just, whatsoever things are pure, whatsoever things are lovely, whatsoever things are of a good report, if there be any virtue in these things, if there be any praise, think on these things. That's what God tells you to do, to think on these things. If you've been living a long time now and yielding to sin and polluting your mind with garbage and structure and stuff, you need to get 2 books. You need to get my wife's book here. You need to get my Romans commentary where I go into that. I also got free online Romans teaching verse by verse that Adam put right up there where they can get that. Set your heart and your soul to seek the Lord. Aim it, set it. That's your job. Proverbs 23:7, as he thinketh in his heart, so is he. So what you think is what you are. Deuteronomy 32:46, and he said unto them, set your hearts unto all the words which I testify unto you. So our best efforts will be limitedly effective. In other words, all these things, a sinner could do all that I've told you to do so far. A sinner could take that and put it into practice, and many of them do. And they live better lives than a lot of Christians I know. So it's within your power to sin not. If it's true that it's impossible for a human to stop sinning, then how in the world could God command us to and hold us accountable when we don't? He expects us to. Universally, no one has. Everyone's sinned and come short of the glory of God. But there's a way made, and we could avail ourselves of it. It just testifies to the utter depravity of the human race, self-appointed depravity, that we don't stop sinning. So our best efforts will be effective only in a limited way, but not satisfactory to God and not satisfactory to ourselves. You know that. You're not satisfied. You know you failed. You know you know there's another way. You've talked to God. You've said, help me out. He's not done it. You've been left your own devices, but you failed to exercise the devices God has given you to overcome sin. Now, there's another way. There's a way that God has given to the Christian, and I've gone too long, so I'm going to stop here, and we will give the supernatural way to overcome sin, which is perfectly 100% effective, and you will be delivered from all your sin. In the meantime, if you want to get my Romans commentaries free online, is that right, Adam?
Yes.
Okay, right there, get it and download it, and look, especially when you get to well, go through the whole thing, because where it gets how to overcome sin gets in chapters 6 and 7 and 8 in particular, but you won't understand it if you don't get 3, 4, and 5 and there before that. So look at that carefully. And so I'm going to stop now, because I've gone a lot longer than you can usually talk.